Hello, today I'm talking about how to assess your creative work. Now, this is a really important consideration because when you're starting out, the challenge you have is you don't know if the work's good enough to send. You don't know if you feel confident enough to send it. You don't have any arbitrary sort of architecture to base your decision on as to whether this is good enough to warrant being paid. This is an issue because for a lot of new copywriters, they don't send it, or they don't even actually get a client because they're too afraid of what will happen if they do send it and that feedback that might come back. So it actually has these tentacles, this fear of what will the client think of my work. And it could be so strong that you actually self-sabotage, that you don't get the client that you could easily get. You don't charge for the work that you could easily charge for, or you keep doing it for free when you really should be charging. So there's a lot of sort of subconscious sabotaging that can happen when you don't have the confidence to present your work and believe that it's good enough. Now, here's the thing. You'll never know if your work is good enough. Even the best top agencies in the world present work, put it on a TV show. They don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, they've tested it, but that's no guarantee it's going to work. So we do live in this world where it's incredibly fragile of not knowing. And that's stressful, but that's the nature of the animal that we're working with. That's the nature of advertising. If we knew it was going to work, well, we'd do more of it and we wouldn't waste so much money on things that didn't work. I mean, David Ogilvy, the famous David Ogilvy, said, we know if advertising works, we just don't know, we know 50% of advertising works, we don't know which 50%, which is so true. And it's still true. Yes, we can test, we can do all that, but until we've tried it, we actually don't know. And in order to test it, you actually have to put it out there anyway. So I want to talk to you today about how to assess your creative work. And the sooner you can rely on your own instinct to think, you know what, I think this is good enough. And I use those words quite specifically. It's good enough. It will probably be better than what the client could do. Just the nature of you doing the courses maybe that, you've worked with me on, or the investigation that you've done, your own research, your own passion, the time you've put into it, it will probably be better than what the client could have done themselves. So just on that level, send it, right? Number two is that you're probably better than you think. And you're probably thinking, but Bernadette, you don't know me. I know, but I've coached thousands of students and the work that I see is generally better than what they think it is. And often my role is to help them just build their confidence, to say, you know what, whoever I'm talking to, this is good enough to send, you must send it. Stop tinkering, send. So in terms of you assessing your work, there's two categories you can fall into, or you can put that assessment into. One is about the actual briefing questions that you should be asking. And the other one is the craft of copy in terms of, well, once you've written it, what do you need to ask yourself to ensure that you've covered off the basics? So I've created a document that's in the resource section, and you should maybe print that off and keep it handy so that when you go to a briefing meeting, you can actually make sure that those briefing questions are covered. And when you've written the copy, you look over it and you think, okay, has this been done? Tick. Has this been done? Tick. And really methodically go through that, because I've done this specifically because the things that get left out are often the most basic things, and they can really undermine your ability and undermine your piece. But if you go through these questions after you've written your copy and before you've taken your brief, and then you send it, you can do so with a fair degree of confidence that it's hitting the right notes. It's done what it needs to do. Now, only the client can ultimately judge that, and ultimately only the customer can judge whether it's working or not. But at least it gives you that impetus and momentum and confidence to present and get it moving, get it dealt with, get the client looking at it, because that rubber hits the road. It's got to happen. And it's always nerve-wracking. To this day, I still don't know how clients are going to accept the work that I've written. I've just written a book. I don't know how the world's going to review that. It's nerve-wracking. You look for those first reviews on Booktopia or Amazon. It's like, will it land? I don't know. And yeah, you can send it around to family and friends and the publisher, and everyone goes, oh, that's good. But at the end of the day, only the public will be the judge.